Welcome to Mic Check Waifu Waifu.
Check waifu. Mind tell them. Is that you?
It's hot outside.
This is episode 308 of Mic Check Waifu. As always, it's brought to you by Patreon. Patreon.com/Mic Check Waifu is where you can get early access to the video version of this podcast. Is where you can get access to the Patreon exclusive podcast, The After Story. It's also where you can get access to the pre-show. The pre-show goes live 2 days before this episode goes live. Thank you so much for supporting us on patreon.com. We appreciate it. Shout out to the Patreon producers that keep the lights on over on Patreon for Mic Check Waifu. Dad Needs to Talk podcast. Make sure you check out Dad Needs to Talk podcast. He just dropped the episode recently. Christian, the archivist. Fear, Ked the Pro for Chaotic Culture podcast. Check out Chaotic Culture podcast. He just dropped a new episode recently. Explicitly, All for One Matt. Matthew H. Monique Williams. Semi Sensei. Frozen. Rob Stone. And last but certainly not least, our guy. T Money Fingers. I was going to take away the S of T Money Fingers because he's watching that vending machine anime, but I can't do that. T Money Fingers always.
Dope.
Mic Check Waifu is the anime podcast that's brought to you every Tuesday at 9:30 CDT. We discuss seasonal anime, and it is the start of the summer, which I did not change the background, which I'm doing in the middle of the show. Right now, because it's this summer. It is the summer theme. There it is. Boom. We summered out now. Thank you so much for joining us. Now we got a lot to talk about because the summer has started. It started big time. And if you're listening on podcast services, make sure you rate us and leave us a nice comment. And also subscribe to the YouTube channel or, drop a comment on the YouTube video. Get all the algorithm stuff going. I digress. Yeah, big summer so far. We got a lot to talk about, but before we get into that, what is your episode of the week this week? Oh, sorry. Subscribe to the Gaming Podcast YouTube. It is in the show notes and it is in the description of this video. We would appreciate that too. The Gaming Podcast is going to probably start next week.
Hopefully
next week. We got our intro done. We got all our art. So we're going to get together and we're going to work that out. So respect games. Respect gaming. We appreciate y'all. All right. Now, Tell, what was your episode of the week this week? Back to the anime.
I got to give an immediate shout out though to
Please do. Whatever you got to do.
To the one that just it's so hard to not talk about how good this show is, and I'm just so happy it's back. It filled my heart with joy. My Dress Up Darling.
Mm-hmm. Talk about it.
I do have to say this. I'm just gonna outline it this way. I don't care what people think, but I'm just gonna say it this way. The characters are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The sound design is amazing. I'm literally listening to when they had that pause of silence and it's just background noise that sounds believable for a school, and it's not actual silence, it's just the background noise. I was like, oh, I love this show so fucking much. But it looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. It is legitimately, I'm so happy it's back. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. It will always have a place in my heart. So yeah, My Dress Up Darling gets a special notice here.
Absolutely great.
So I'm just saying it deserves episode of the week, but I'm just not giving it because it's already, it deserves it, but I'm going to go with the Summer Hikaru dive.
Okay. I did not watch that one. I figured this one won't be for me. I don't think I'm going to watch it. I'm not that interested in it. Yeah, I'm just not. It's just not my thing. So the fact that I got episode of the week for you though, very interesting. Go ahead.
It's very summertime rendering esque.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure exactly like what the longevity of it will look like, but it does feel 100% summertime rendering esque, and it gave me extreme nostalgia of that. But it also sounds good, looks good, feels good.
There is about 7 shows that I can give episode of the week to.
Yeah,
it is that kind of summer. Crazy great shows. But I am going to pick one because that is what we are supposed to do.
You can give an honorable mention.
Okay. I'm going to give an honorable mention to Betrothed to My Sister's Ex.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most beautiful main characters ever. She's just gorgeous. And the fact that she goes through what she goes through is intense. It's insane. This is one of the best shows this week for me. Easily. The reason why I didn't give it episode of the week is because I'm giving something else episode of the week that I think isn't going to get any love from anywhere, probably. So I'm going to be the one to do it. And while Betrothed to My Sister's Ex was the better show this week, probably one of the best shows, one of the shows I'm going to give my episode of the week to, just to draw attention to it, is New Saga. New Saga was a great first episode.
That's a Polow and Telliano anime if I ever saw one.
Yeah, it is. It is a Polow and Telliano anime, but it's a Polow and Telliano anime that I believe I can recommend just off the first episode alone. The way it started was phenomenal. And I mean, I guess with that being said, no, because we got a lot to get into to discuss. So we're going to save the full details of stuff right after this. But before we get into that, I just wanted to let people know how we do this. So with the summer breakdown, with the start of the summer breakdown, the way we're going to do it is we're going to I guess slightly spoil or just gloss over episode 1s of stuff. Check out what we think of these episode 1s of these particular shows to determine on if you want to add it to your list or not. We are going to spoil it, quote unquote, but it's episode 1 of a show that we know nothing about. So it will be, I guess you can call it light spoilers, but this is just to determine on if you wanted to add it to your list or not. So that's the way you should interpret our discussion on these shows for the summer. So we're going to go into details on these particular shows, but we got a few things to discuss before we get into these shows. Maybe starting off with some shows that are returning, like Dawn to Dawn and Call of the Night. So I think we should start there first. Where do you want to go first? Dawn to Dawn?
Let's just hit Dawn to Dawn. That's popular.
Okay. So Tell mentioned that Dawn to Dawn hit his top. No, I'm going to let you say it because he said it in the pre-show.
Dawn to Dawn hit my top 1,000 anime of all time. I don't know where it places in that, but it might be 999. But it's top 1,000. Now, I said that as a joke because I legitimately don't think I like this show.
Yeah.
It's a show that, like, the quality is there in terms of
it's
production
Madhouse
value. It's crazy that there's so much quality there. But I'm watching the show and I hate it. And it literally is how they treat this young girl. That blows my mind every time.
So
and Polow
disgusting.
and I agree very much so on that topic. Is how they treat that young girl. I can't get past it. It's so hard for me, and I apologize that I don't like watching stuff like that. I'm not trying to make it a super big deal. The show still has interesting points, but it just doesn't make me want to watch it. It actually makes it a struggle to turn on.
Yes. I saved it.
Time.
It was so hard for me to even want to turn it on. I'm like, I gotta turn this on, because at the time there was nothing else out at the time, and I'm like, okay, let me get this out the way to finally watch it. But it is exactly that. The one great thing about Dawn to Dawn is its villain characters, or the story behind its villain characters. This one had both terrible main characters and terrible villain characters, so it just makes the entirety of the show within this particular story terrible, at least so far. And like the boy said in the Discord, you could tell that this was a part of a 2-core series. It just picked up right where it left off, like it wasn't gone for 6 months. But even still, like nothing could have made it better or like even worse. It's just the problem. I don't care if it's etchiness with high school. That is also weird, but something about this creator. He needs his hard drive checks because he loves to pin adults against this teenage these children. Yeah, exactly. And it's both Okarun and the other girl. I never can remember her name. It's because like Ayase, I think that's her name.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
a problem. It's uncomfortable. It's weird. It's strange. And if you don't find it strange, you're strange. Because it is. He needs his hard drive checked. That's all I have to say to that. It's very, very awkward. Adults attacking children in a sexual manner is never okay. Like teenagers, fine. High school DxD, do y'all thing. I'm okay with that. High school or dead, whatever. You know, those are high schoolers. But it's just the adult things that I have a problem with that always bugged me. And again, these characters stink. They absolutely stink.
They're not even interesting enough for all of that extra that they do. You know what I mean? If these characters were at least interesting, where I actually wanted to engage and watch their story, then maybe it'd be easier to bypass some of that. And let's also be fair here. Polow and I don't find them interesting.
No.
You might find them interesting. You might absolutely love these characters.
Absolutely.
Which is why it is hard for us to digest what's going on versus you might be able to digest it because it's like you actually like the characters.
Yeah.
So, you know, for each his own, but it just ain't my cup of tea.
I don't even think if I liked the characters, I would be okay with it though. Like
I agree. I agree.
Like even if I like them, the awkwardness of these adults trying to like screaming breast at this poor teenage girl is just fucking weird, man. It's very weird. And I think I heard someone say that the creator has a crush on Ayase. And you're a grown man. I mean, it's very weird.
Yeah, that's wild.
It kind of made it. Put it in
you
perspective.
Had a crush on Ayase? It's different if you saying it's like you as a character you had a crush on, but you currently like, yeah, bro, you might be a little wild.
A little strange. All right. And Call of the Night season 2. You said you had something to...
Oh,
I didn't watch
Call
this.
of the Night.
I missed it.
Now, Call of the Night, actually, it's a lot about this show that I actually just think is interesting. I do want to really, really enjoy it. I know I enjoyed Call of the Night much more than Polow did.
Yeah.
But here's the issue that I find with Call of the Night and why I actually think Polow doesn't like it. It's because if those roles were reversed, we would hate that guy character, right? If it was a guy character who was in a way, like, because the nonchalant kind of attitude that she carries is actually okay. It's not that that's the bad part. It's more of the fact that she is pushing this romance agenda with this person at night, and it is almost like manipulative. But because it's a girl, it's so easy to let it slide.
I still hate it.
I know, no, that's what I'm saying. But that's why I can see 100% why Polow dislikes it. And it also was something I was like, yo, if that was a dude, I literally would already flip my table and be like, I'm done watching.
Right.
And I can understand that entirely. It was like, nah, this show is a little. It's also pushing the line. It is, and I feel like I'm repeating the same thing that I said for Dandadan, but it's not nearly as bad as Dandadan.
Because the characters are somewhat decent. Like, you know, it's just the story for me was it just felt shallow and. I don't know. I'm still gonna watch it. I couldn't watch it with everything else we had to watch. Like it was just so much to watch.
Right.
Like including the stuff that continued on from previous seasons into this season, and then the new stuff. The new stuff is crazy. I do got an announcement to make. This is for particularly the people who are, you know, into how we do our seasonal stuff, but our sleeper pick, my sleeper pick in particular, got delayed into September, so it's in the fall now, basically. So me and Crystal had to do an audible and redirect our sleeper picks. Now, slightly cheating because we got to watch the first episode, but I still chose this before I watched the first episode. So you can take what I say with a grain of salt or believe that I actually did that. But I did. I picked it before I re-chose a new episode, a new show of the week. So my new sleeper is actually it's Basuni Habita, which is the English title for it is A Bouquet for April Showers Bring May Flowers. In our discord.mycheckwaifu. There is a link to watch it. It isn't on any streaming sites for some reason outside of Bilibili, and it's geo-locked. So there is a site that shall not be named in our Discord where you can watch it, so you can keep up with my sleeper if you would like to. And I watched the first episode literally right before we started recording this, but I picked it well before that, and it was always my second choice anyway. So yeah, I just wanted to get that out there. And then Crystal's sleeper audible choice was Betrothed to My Sister's Ex. So because our sleeper, which was the fragrant flower blooms with dignity, is delayed until September, we audibled until these two different shows. So I just wanted to get that out of the way too.
So what did you think about do you want to talk about your sleeper?
Yeah, we can go right into our sleepers now. Especially since I just finished. So Bosu ni Habita, Hani Taba, whatever, was a phenomenal first episode. It has the thing that I could never stood, and it's in real life too. Like whenever there's a quote unquote, what people would consider not attractive person, and they're nice and they're sweet, I always try to give them compliments in real life or in fake life. So whenever I see something like that, I always try to show them some love. Like, you're beautiful. Everything you're fine the way, you know what I'm saying? Because I hate when people just, to these nice people, direct any type of vitriolic hate. And I can't stand it. So I try to be as nice in real life as possible. And this is what this show basically is. It is just the sweetest fucking thing. This girl who is so down on herself, who just thinks she's just the ugliest thing. She has it in her mind that everybody is against her and is basically plotting her demise. She's in class. She's changing the flowers because she's in a beautification I guess group they call it or whatever, where they have to like water the flowers and stuff like that. Typical anime stuff. So she actually has a potted plant in class, and she's infatuated with shoujo manga, and she's so loving. It's the cutest thing, the way she has this fucking just infatuation with shoujo manga. She has this flower and she plants it in her hair like the main character of the shoujo manga that she likes. And one of the most popular boys in class catch her early in the morning portraying this shoujo manga main MC, and she thinks that he's just going to like blackmail her with it and whatever the case may be, but he doesn't. He's just a nice guy and just he basically want to see her win. And it's just the sweetest thing, but I hate how down on herself she is. It hurts my soul. But it's cute, man. It's so fucking adorable. I actually enjoy what I watched in this first episode. It's also one of my favorites that I watched this week too.
Does it give you a honey lemon soda vibe?
No, because it's not as depressing as that.
Okay.
It is more of a...
It's more of a shallower version of that.
Like I know, like she knows, quote unquote. She feels like she's just hideous. So she's like, I avoid talking to people. I play gotcha games in the bathroom on break because I'm just too shy. And she's just a shy introvert who this extrovert character is coming around and helping her. It's like such a great first episode. Like even it was even this one situation to where she had one of the beautification people in a different class came up to her and like, hey, I have something. I'm really busy. I have something to do. Can you cover for me? She says, yeah, no problem, of course. So she covers for her, and the guy, the popular guy, overhears the girl who asked her to cover for her, overhears her say, this was a big day. We had to move all this dirt and do all this stuff. So I got the nerdy girl in 1-3 to do it. She seems shy, so it should be fine. Nothing to worry about. He heard her say that, and he came fucking running to help her out with the plants in the dirt and everything like that. It was just so, everything about it is just wonderful. And I just want to just tell her, you're not fucking ugly. You're gorgeous. I just want to be nice to her, and just seeing the way it plays out. It's just sweet. And I can't wait to see where it goes, because it seemed like it might start to kind of be messy already at the end of the first episode. Kinda. We shall see, but I love it. Great sleeper.
I like
Re-sleeper,
that.
I should say.
Re-sleeper.
Now your sleeper.
I need to put that on yours. Did you watch it?
Yes, of course.
Okay. I'm gonna just give my thoughts. Now,
what was your sleeper?
My sleeper was Apocalypse Bringer, Mynoghra, World Conquest. World Conquest starts with the Civilization of Ruin. Now, hear me out. I really enjoyed this. And it was very simple. Extremely simple.
I would disagree with that.
You don't think it was simple?
No, it's not simple. I mean, it's simple to you because you understand it. But to anybody else, it ain't simple.
Well,
and
so
I'm gonna tell
hear
you
me
why
out.
when we get.
This is everything that I like in mobile games. This is exactly the kind of mobile games I play.
It ain't even a mobile game for real, really. It's it's StarCraft.
Turn-based. It's StarCraft ain't turn-based.
No,
but they gave
RTS
either. Features though. You know what I mean? Well, that's what they say here, turn-based strategy. But it says it gives RTS based like strategy, right? Sure. And I'm like, oh, I love this. I love that it gives this RTS kind of vibe.
It's civilization.
And yeah,
that's what it is. Yeah.
It essentially is a kingdom building RTS kind of game, right? I love it. I absolutely love it, bro.
It is definitely not simple though.
But no, I don't think it. I think it will be less simple very soon.
Yeah.
I think how it started, the complexities were if you just don't understand RTSs, I guess, or if you've never played
at
them.
all.
You understand.
Yeah, absolutely. It was simple to me to know that you bring in a scout, you send them off to do anything. Like it's crazy. It's so crazy.
What I love though is how they portrayed the main character when it came to how he was introduced to the world, right? How the other people in the world saw him except for his hero character, right? And I thought that was super cool because in games like this, you never actually see the commander. You never see who they're talking to, right? So you always wonder, what do I look like to them? And it's like just this, for him, it's this super ominous, pitch black, heartless looking character who is unfathomable to the world, right? They look at him and it's like, yo, that is a demon and we can't even do nothing to do nothing. We can't do nothing with it. We can't do nothing with it. You have to be horrified. But it also, I feel like, what is the name of it? The one where he was rebuilding civilization, like he was building like log cabbages and stuff like that. Yeah, like it was more recent than that one. Oh, but really? How it feels like he's going to be doing things like he's going to be rebuilding civilization and making strategic moves. Yes, but that's what I'm interested in. Is like, what are his moves? You know, as a shut-in, his hero character vibing with him and stuff like that was beautiful. No, I don't think this is one I can recommend to everybody, bro.
Yeah,
but I love it 120%.
This is what I was saying. Like when you said simple, that's what blew my mind because it's very complicated and everything that you said, plus the fact that you can't recommend it to everybody because it's that the complications of they're not going to understand why he's this mystical, this mystified character, and it's because of exactly what you said. When you're playing a civilization game like this, you don't really see your hero character, or I guess the world in which you're conquering doesn't see the hero character. So they don't see the hero character. They just see this figure and all of his abilities and the way it is going to, like the way they have to like explain that the hero character won't gain strength until everything else gains strength around you first. It's all about your influence and how you get your strength in these particular games. And that's complicated. And they didn't really do a great job of explaining it. Plus, I will say this, there's no animation. There's no animation almost whatsoever. So
it's not great.
It's very T-Bait-esque when it comes to
CGI.
Yeah. It's very T-Bait-esque when it comes to the animation. But when your characters and your world is good, and you don't go in with any expectations like you should with something like T-Bait, it's fun, man. It's a fun watch. And I enjoyed every second of it.
And I hate to say that even that we even brought up T-Bait in this because I feel like I enjoyed this opening episode more than I enjoyed T-Bait, and it could be because like I had less expectations. I didn't know what to expect. I went in, it's like, all right, we about to watch an isekai and see what happens. You know what I mean?
Yep. Oh, it was wonderful though. It was a wonderful experience. Not a good looking one, but a wonderful one.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
So yeah, going to that one knowing that it ain't gonna look great, but it is going to be very, like, I'm telling you, people that don't know anything about RTSs or games will probably have a hard time understanding what the fuck is even going on. Because they were like deep into it. Like they were like like I'm like, what the fuck? They saying and doing shit that nobody would understand. They still got a lot
they can go into. They ain't even really got into the resource management outside of the emergency summon spell. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. They can go even deeper than that. Yeah, it's very interesting. Very interesting. What was one that surprised you? Another one that surprised you. God, it's so much.
So, can I say it was a surprise? That probably wasn't a surprise if I'm being honest with you. So I'm gonna say this one because I'm pretty sure we both enjoyed this. Mm-hmm. All right, just hear me out when I say this. The Water Magician. I'm going to assume that Polow's on the same page as me when I watched this. We both enjoyed it. I enjoyed it at the very least. Mm-hmm. I feel like we knew we were going to enjoy it, but I didn't quite 100% know what to expect. Mm-hmm. Going into this one, we get this idea that essentially he's being reincarnated in his world, and I mean he's using water magic, but it's more of the thought process. He's trying to live
implementation of the water magic.
The implementation of it, yeah. He's trying to live a peaceful countryside life. But the interesting aspect of it is how he gets to implement magic. He can instantly freeze water by moving the atoms together, or closer together. Mm-hmm. And what it is essentially the imagination of magic, or what you want to do, is what implements what's happening. Yeah. So the deeper your understanding, and especially him being from a world that is more scientifically based, mm-hmm. he can do ridiculous things. Like doing the opposite with water would make it hotter. But basically, it's more of the interactions he gets.
Yeah.
Early on, and even though a lot happened very quickly, I feel like they did it in a tasteful manner. It didn't feel oversaturated with too much. It felt like the speed in which they did it got us through what we needed to in the beginning, kind of like moment like this, to let us see, okay, now what are we doing in the future?
Right. I think you said it brilliantly. It's very tasteful in which the way they kind of explain everything. Now, I don't know how this. The one thing I noticed though is people, and it mostly goes because my TikTok is just full of people talking about the summer anime, and it's annoying. But if people are like, this one has a crazy animation, it doesn't. The intro is very well animated, like very extremely well animated, like almost Mushoku Tensei type animation style for the intro. But nothing else is animated that quality at all. Like it's not even close. So temper your expectation when it comes to that. And if you've been seeing stuff about how it's going to be such a big, great animation, no, it's not. It's just the intro that's animated well. I digress. They do a great job of watching him learn how to implement this water magic. And that was this entire first episode, was him just determining how he's going to use it in this world where he end up getting put in this forest by what they would call, or what we would call, an angel, which he decides to title Fake Michael.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah, which is so cool. He gets placed in the middle of this forest, and apparently this forest is extremely deadly because he's fighting some demons, including learning some swordplay from Dullahan, which is considered which was formerly a fairy king. So he's gaining so much power quickly. But I think the most important piece of it was the trait that we learned about at the end, which was that eternal youth. So he's never going to get old, which that could be a lot deeper of a conversation, which I hope they go into. Like the struggles of knowing that you can never get older. I want them to go into it. I don't think this show will, because this just seems like a Polow and Telliano fun kind of show. But I want them to dive deeper into the thoughts of eternal youth and how that can mess with somebody's mind, or, you know, or how you live. And it won't, but that's what I would want, you know. But I'm looking forward to more. This is one that's easy to watch. It went by super fast, and I'm looking forward to more.
I do think that it would. Man, I agree. I don't think it's going to go into that aspect of eternal life.
Yeah.
But if they keep doing scenes like that Dullahan scene, it might actually end up looking good. Because I feel like that was the only really good animated scene. Yeah. It could have been just the color contrast because it was so dark with the highlights and whatnot. But man, that was the best looking scene. But overall, I don't think the show was about how good it looked. It was about how good it did everything else. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
To go to a show about that looked extremely good, in my opinion, which is what I just watched before we recorded, right before I watched my sleeper, was The Shy Hero and the Assassin Princesses. Did you watch this?
I didn't.
Okay, I figured you would miss it because it's one of those in the cut ones.
Now I have it on my list.
Yeah,
I'll tell you why I didn't watch it when you're done telling me about it.
Yeah, this one's very Osan Nubia adventure, but I got a feeling in this one the main character, which is Toto, he's a hero, and he's surrounded by these three extremely talented women who are virtually assassins who are tasked with killing him. One is the daughter of a demon lord. The other is a well-known top assassin who's pretending to be a priest, and the other is a mistress of a BDSM house, whose goal is to control as many men as she possibly can, as many strong men as she possibly can. So she's like the only one that isn't trying to kill him, essentially. But yeah, they're tasked with killing him. But the problem is that this hero, super shy. The minute he tries to go into a place to get a quest, he envisioned himself coming in being all cool. But he goes in and he can't even speak up to anybody to say, hey, I want to join your party. So he's never been able to actually adventure as the hero to go kill the demon lord, which is one of the assassin's father. But I digress. So they're all tasked with killing him. They finally meet up with him. And then every time like one of them touches him or in any way, he faints. He completely goes unconscious. So he's literally eliminated throughout this entire episode. I think he said like 10 words. And it's like, he's going to be a non-factor within this show. It's going to be about the three women around him. And the three women around him seems to have interesting stories. So I'm kind of looking forward to that, but it's pretty funny. It's pretty good. There is a scene in here that get a little spicy that I like a lot. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, it was decent. It's not going to be for everybody, but it's a very interesting concept.
Now, hear me out. I have it on my list already. Mm-hmm. I turned it on. I got 1 minute in. And I was like, I don't want to watch this. And I think it was the animation for me. I didn't like the way it looked.
No, it looks a lot better than it has any right to for some reason.
Okay, so you say so it could have just been like
character art probably looks a little strange.
Yeah, but I think that's 100% what it was.
It kind of looks almost One Piece-esque with the character design, like the girls and their proportions and shit. It looks great animation wise though. It looks insanely good for no reason.
But my issue is going to be with specifically this, and this is why I wanted to hear what you were going to say, is that if the characters are good for this, then I will watch it. Because I turned it on, I was like, oh, this looks like it's going to be irritating. Like I felt like, and this is just, I shouldn't have judged it immediately, but I judged it. I was like, oh no, this is not even getting a 3-episode rule. I was like, I'm going to be irritated by these characters. I don't even want to watch it.
I can see I know exactly why.
I was like, yeah, I don't want to watch this, but I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, I think it's worth giving at least a 3-episode rule.
I mean, I'm most likely probably gonna give it more because I think let me see how much I got more coming for the next week. I think after I think I'll have a spot for this.
I don't know. There's a lot of shit still coming too. We'll get to that later.
Now, kind of to piggyback off what you were saying though, right? Especially with the fact that if the girls touch him, he kind of self implodes.
Yeah.
Did you watch Uglymug?
No, I didn't. Uglymug.
Uglymug EpicFighter. So now this show is stupid. I'm not recommending it to nobody. I'm not recommending it to nobody, but I think I'm gonna watch it.
Okay.
Now, what it's about is dude had a horrible life, and his life had to do with the fact that he was ugly. He was ugly in real life, and he had to be a very good communicator. He had to be an expert communicator in his job and everything like that in order to actually even make it through life. But ended up getting bullied anyway and became a NEET because of how ugly he was, and then his communication skills went down the drain because he got bullied and stuff like that, right?
Hate it.
As an adult, even, you know what I mean? Like literally horrible.
So sad.
He basically what he does is he's searching on the internet, just scrolling through other people talking about how horrible their lives are, and it says turn your computer towards the north, and at 2 a.m. hold your arms up, and you'll get a chance to restart your life, but it's going to cost you half your life. So he restarts his life in another world.
Oh, in a different world. Interesting.
Yeah, in a different world. And what this world does is it gives you a chance to gain extra points based off of, it gives you a chance to get extra points in life based off of how or what your weaknesses are and what you want to sacrifice. So immediately he sacrifices his health, his looks are set to 5, which means he's just an average looking dude. He sets his looks to minus 255 because he was already ugly. That's what his life was before. It ain't changing his life now. You know what I mean? He's like, hey, whatever. I ain't never had it. I ain't gonna miss it. But then he goes and does things like he loses 10% health whenever he touches a woman.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
10%. So it's not even
10% of his health whenever he touches a woman. Basically, with the weaknesses and the ugliness that he has, it actually ends up giving him something like 100, like 25, I think it was 25 trillion stat points. So he puts 5 trillion in all of his stats. So and basically it calls him Almighty God.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So he's basically and he's good at everything. We don't get to see him actually be good at everything, but he's just good at everything.
You know what that remind me of?
What?
Very sidebar, but Project Zomboid. How when you take a negative trait, you get positive points.
Yeah,
so you get the positive traits. That's kind of what it sounds like a little bit.
But might have to bring that to the game podcast. but hear me out. It's not. I don't know if it's going to actually be good, but I actually do kind of like this character. All he really wants to do is be this super powerful character by himself. Just explore the world by himself as this almighty God character. He wasn't even intended on necessarily doing any of that. Yeah. But he gets isekai'd into this world with 3 other people.
Oh, shit.
Who also did the same exact thing. And they're all like pretty looking people, decent, good communication skills, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like, I'm ugly and I'm not trying to communicate with y'all. I'm just trying to go on about my life. But
that's interesting.
He ends up getting dragged with them. So I do actually, I think I'm going to watch this one for sure, just because of how already ridiculous it is.
It's different. And I like that. All right. Well, let me talk about this one then. This one was sweet, special, and this will be probably one of the best shows this season for sure. But it's called Welcome to the Outcast Restaurant. And this is about an adventurer who's level 99, who was a part of this other adventuring party, who was a part of his adventuring party with this captain who was also level 99. And they were the only 2 level 99s in this party, and they were the most popular party in the world. The party consists of like 13 different people. And he was brought in by the vice captain of that party as a cook, and they're doing a quest. And that quest, he's like he's doing what he's supposed to do, playing the back line, keeping the back line healed and together and whatnot. And he's also their cook or whatever. But basically, essentially what happens is that he gets kicked out of the party for basically being quote unquote useless. And the fact that the girl who brought him into the party as the vice captain, the captain actually has a crush on her, but she seemed to be more worried about what the cook was doing. Like she was more so attracted to him. So he kicked him out because of jealousy, obviously. That's what it seems, but it isn't portrayed necessarily all the way. In the first episode, it's just like briefly mentioned. I digress. But as he gets kicked out of the party, he's like, you know what? All right, whatever. He leaves. He leaves the party. He leaves the town, and he decides that I'm going to do what I always wanted to do, and that's start my own restaurant. And as he's in this new town, buying everything he needs for his restaurant, he come across a slave trader, and the slave trader is selling a slave, a former noble whose house has fallen, and she's dejected and just fucking in ruin right now. And he sees her, and he sees this look in her eye that reminds him of himself, and he decides to pay $3 million for her. So he pays $3 million for her, and he basically tell her like, hey, you good to go, you free. But instead, she decides to stick with him, and he starts this restaurant. And it is the fucking sweetest thing to see these two characters interact. It's adorable. It is definitely going to be one of the best shows this season, easily, bar none. And a voice acting is unbelievable. Unbelievable voice acting. Even, I don't understand Japanese yet, but it's really, really good voice acting from every character that I've met so far. And I think it's going to be well worth the watch for anybody. I recommend it strongly.
Okay.
Make sure you watch it.
Did you watch Scooped Up by a S Rank?
I sure did. I was going to go there next if you didn't.
I like it.
Yeah. This is a Polow Until Last show
already
that I think I can recommend too.
Yeah. So it's exactly how that last anime just started. Kind of. Basically, we have this chosen one character, and I mean, is that too much story to tell? Basically, his name Lloyd. Lloyd is a character who is basically he's been raised by
what seemed to be one of the strongest mages, period, right? Mm-hmm.
And she's a white mage. She's a white mage too. Yep. But basically, the white mage is a mage who does healing and buffs and stuff like that, essentially. Yep. And he is, in the beginning, all you see is him kind of being told, you're still not good enough. You're still not good enough. Hey, I need you to make a fire. He makes a fire. It's not strong, not big enough. He makes water come out. It's not big enough. He controls wind. It's not enough wind. Everything he's doing is just quite not enough, not strong enough for his
master. Yeah.
His master. And essentially, what she's trying to do is teach him some humbleness. And I ain't gonna lie to you, it was making me a little salty. It was making me a little
not
mad.
Me. I was okay with it.
I mean, I was okay with it, but it made me upset for the pathological issues that come about when you meet other characters who are doucheronis.
But you think about it, if she didn't do that though,
yeah, he was just fried, bro.
Yeah, exactly. It becomes a jerk, which seems to have implications as to why she decided to go this route because of what happened in the past, which I think is a major implication as to why she decides to keep him humble opposed to somebody who's not so humble.
But and it does make his character extremely lovable.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
He ends up going into the city and joining this party, and he's with the hero who is extremely overconfident, super braggadocious and full of himself. And he
his companions that are kiss ups.
Most of them are kiss ups,
except for one.
Yeah, and basically, they don't realize all the work that Lloyd does. they take him for granted. And the whole time, Lloyd is lessening their burden, making sure they're never really getting hurt and or taking damage. They're not fully exerting their energy or power. They're really using Lloyd's. And they end up kicking him from the party.
Yep. I think the best part about this show, though, is the build up to that point. And to go back to what you talked about with the training, that little training session of her teaching him is so detailed and deep and important for his character. And then that small moment at the very end where she's like talking to one of her, what seems to be an assumption, but what was portrayed was that he was they were a part of a bigger party that did something that ended up
causing something,
that I think is going to be a very deep part of this story, which is the most interesting part of it all. Like him getting kicked from the party is interesting, but I want to know the past of it all. But then, he get to join what seems to be an interesting party coming up here shortly. So I'm looking forward to that soon. But yeah, that was one of the most interesting isekai, or not isekai, one of the most interesting get kicked out of the party shows so far. How many we got of those so far this season? 3?
Yeah.
Let's go to the one I gave my episode of the week to, New Saga.
Okay.
This one was absolutely brutal. This starts off with this, what seems to be a hero character, but they the way they bring exposition in was phenomenal. Let me make sure this is the right one. Yeah. The way they bring exposition in was extremely phenomenal. I want to say this, Tel. Anime, it needs to, this is going to go into another show that we're going to talk about later, but anime needs to please normalize doing lore dumps with a narrator. Just use a narrator and then use pages of a book or something like that to give you the lore of the world and the story and to help you establish why what's going on is going on, right? The narrator explains like these demons, they decide to attack surprisingly against the human realm. They just do the lore dump and it's very easy to understand and they get right into it. And once you get right into it, you then go to your main hero character and his party running through the Demon Lord's castle. They're going through the Demon Lord's castle and they fighting and doing whatever they can. And he lose one of his peoples. You don't really know who they are at first either. They lose one of his people. He gets fucking blasted by this demon witch who seems to be an absolute demon. And they continue on. And when they get to the Demon Lord, it's only him and what seems to be a priest or a wizard. Again, we know nothing so far of this yet. And it gets brutal. The fight gets brutal. I mean, the priest gets evaporated literally. And he goes into fight and give everything he has against this demon. And when he kills the demon, but he also loses his life in the process, supposedly. And this is all in the first 5 minutes of the show. Like, I'm talking like 5 minutes, 50 seconds. This all happens.
Can I say something that's kind of funny?
Yeah.
When he went down, right? He finally defeated the demon, and you see him. He said he lost everybody he cared about. Yep. Is what he's literally saying. I lost everybody I ever cared about. And he said, "Well, at least finally I can rest." And he goes to lay down. And this is funny. At least I think it's funny. I was like, moms be like, at least he can still get up and do something. And he gets up out of his death state. Yeah. to go grab something that seems to be a further threat to the world.
Yeah. I think he was calling out to him, if I remember.
Yeah. Well, initially it didn't call out to him immediately. You know what I mean? Yeah,
true.
He just saw it and said, this could, and immediately viewed it as a threat and went to it. And this is where I got emotional because, he wakes up again. Yep. And he's in front of who, we didn't get to see him lose. I think this is the only character they didn't necessarily show us that he lost.
Yeah.
But it shows, the character he said, the love of his life. And he's hugging her and he's like teared up, and I'm like, oh my god, bro, I feel you.
It was so emotional, and I'm like, the fact that you got me this emotional in a state where I'm literally 6-7 minutes into the show, that's good. That's talent. That's writing. That's quality stuff right there. So that is again why New Saga was very special.
And they also did a very good job of showing the gravity of difference, and even the way he looks, right?
Yep.
His face was different. And by his face being different, it looked like
it was a whole different art style.
Yeah. He looked aggressive. The way the art style was made, it looked like he couldn't have possibly been a good guy. Whereas now, once he's transitioned back to 4 years it was, 3 years before the calamity or whatever happens, he looks like a kid.
Yeah,
but not just like a kid, because
in an anime kind of way.
Yeah, he looks like he's almost never seen a hardship in his life.
Yeah. It was very anime-fied. It was a touching story. Like, it was very, very. I'm like, I'm already invested, and it was 15 minutes in at that point, and it seems like it's going to be a special one for sure.
Yeah, it's one that I'm definitely gonna continue to watch.
100%.
I was locked in, bro. I was like, oh no, this is good. This is great,
bro.
As soon as you said New Saga, I was like, man, he chose a good one.
It deserved it. Well, I mean, again, it wasn't the best show, but it was definitely one of the ones I think that deserved the attention for sure. What you got, Tel?
All right.
There's so many.
Yeah, it's a decent amount of them. Hold up.
I can go again if you want.
Did you watch Clevatass?
Yeah, Clevatass. Yes.
All right. Now, is this one popular?
I think so. Yeah.
Because I feel like I've seen like manga representation of this before.
Yeah, it wasn't a quiet pick.
Okay. Okay. It started in 2020. All right. Clevatass. Now, I'm just gonna say this. It was a fast 40 minutes for me.
Yeah, it was.
It did not feel like 40 minutes, which I will say is a good thing for the most part. Now, I will also say this. I'm not sure if I'm talking to many Clevatass fans. Clevatass only got so long before I started viewing him as an actual demon and saying he needed to do right by this baby. Now, all right, let's get to the point. Clevatass, essentially how we start off is we are with a hero party. The hero's party is searching out this dark beast.
Well, before you get to that, they do that lore dump at the beginning, which was very nice with her as a kid talking to her father and looking at the map of the world. Like, why is the map blacked out and we're only this small island or the archipelago, essentially. And the father explains to her that beyond a certain point on this map is just the dark territory. They know what nothing is over there at all because it is ruled by the dark beasts or whatever they call it.
The Four Emperor Dark Beast.
Yeah, and so we don't know what's over there, but that's the moral of the beginning of that. And she decides that she's going to grow up to be a hero to then show her father the rest of the world. And then that's when we get to what Tel was talking about.
Yes. And when we engage in this, we're basically following this hero party that was put together to basically slay Clevatass, who is one of the Lord of the Dark Beast. He is the Lord of the Dark Beast, which I'm assuming that means he's the strongest, but we haven't even seen all of the rest of the Dark Beast yet. But we know that there are 4 that are just superior to all of them. The hero, and they're kind of doing explanations like, well, this guy is the strongest of us, that's why he's the leader, etc. You know, they're just kind of doing the regular expedition dump where they're telling about each character or some of the characters in general. And we get to a point to where we engage in the combat where they essentially come across Clevatass and he's above everyone in this ominous, beautiful form. I like how it looks. And I'll say I was thrown off at first because it does kind of have this
foggy, like
not just foggy, but the foggy actually it started to look better after some time. In the beginning, I was like, I'm not.
It was, and this was purposely done. It was deep and dark and film grainy and like an old Disney movie,
and that
on purpose.
That's what I was trying to get at. It had this like 90s anime aesthetic, maybe even 80s aesthetic is what it kind of felt like it was going for. Yep. And I know that I'm gonna be honest, when the Gundam anime did that, I was like, I don't want this.
Yeah.
But I saw this through, and I do feel like it was a better payoff. With essentially they come across Clevatass, and you see him. He is this. You can't really see him. He is this dark figure. All you see is horns and eyes and tails. And I mean, in the beginning, you don't even really see his tails. You just see horns and eyes. And they get ready to engage in combat. The main combatant, the hero, basically says he's amping himself up, telling him, I'm going to be the one to take you out. We're not going back. And here I come. And as he rushes in, let
me stop you for a second, because again, another important part that we missed is that the reason why these people became heroes is because there is a certain group of a certain race of people that is qualified to create these weapons. Did
they give all that information?
At
that point?
Yeah. Because they
felt like it wasn't until later.
No, they gave that on the wagon. Because they were talking about how we were going to do this because we have these weapons, and these weapons are forged from this race of people who are the only ones capable of forging these weapons, and that's why they were sent out to then go fight Clevatass. I think that's important because of the simple fact is, once they engage in battle with Clevatass, it don't mean a goddamn thing because Clevatass claps every last one of them, and it is the most beautiful one-sided ass whooping you would ever see. But I think what's important about this ass whooping, and I'm not going to go into what is discussed in this one-sided ass whooping, because I think that's important for people to watch and to find out. But the narration of Clevatass is so good. It is so good, and it is so important to what this virtually is going to be about, because what happens is after everybody gets clapped and Clevatass is inner monologuing and talking to himself and explaining what the fuck is, what's what, he goes to where the king of the realm that sent him in to go fight Clevatass, he goes and fucking destroys the entire kingdom and just demolishes everything. And then that's when he comes across this dying lady with this baby who's pleading for her to take this baby. And this is my favorite part of the entire episode, when she says this baby has no choice as to when they were born. Didn't choose to be a part of this, didn't choose to attack you, didn't choose any of this, and they deserve a chance to live. And that shit was so powerful, not even to just Clevatass, but to me too. And the fact that it was powerful to me too, that Clevatass even felt it and decided, you know what, I'll take this as an experiment, quote unquote. And he takes his baby and he goes back to his fucking homeland. Again, I'm leaving a lot out because I think this is well worth the watch. But once he takes that baby and goes back to his homeland, he decides to make a choice and to bring back one of the people he clapped. And one of the people he claps is going to be a surprise to you as well. But watch this fucking show. Watch this. I was thoroughly entertained. And to go back to what Tel said about the art style of it, the look of it, it gradually lost its graininess as it continued until it got until about the last 10 minutes or so, to where it was a normally colored show. And it was, blew my fucking mind, by the way. I'm like, that's creative as hell.
It was like they were using that graininess to show that they were telling the story before you got here. And this is the present tense of what's happening.
I thought that was so cool. Because at first I was like, I'm like, this shit is, if they decided to do this the whole time, I don't even want to watch it because it's hurting my eyes. It was like actually physically hurting my eyes, trying to strain and look at what the fuck was even going on, to be fair. Like I was like, because I'm old, my eyes are bad. But outside of that, I love this episode so much, especially the shit he was saying throughout the entire time he was saying it. And the reason why he was saying it, I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna say much, but it all makes sense.
It makes sense. I got the same questions you got. Why me? But
exactly.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
But it was a very interesting show, and like I said, it did not feel like 40 minutes to me. It felt like I'm watching it. And I'm gonna say this one more time: The Lord of Mysteries felt like it was longer.
And it was 30 minutes. Oh, that's funny.
I felt like I watched Lord of Mysteries 3 times. Like, what is going on here?
I can't wait. I need the dub to come. Oh, anyway.
Whatever.
Clevatass is great though. Please watch Clevatass. Let's move on to a couple of people sleeper in our community, which is Secrets of the Silent Witch. You want to talk about a beautifully animated show? This might be one of the best animated shows this season. Secrets of the Silent Witch it looks insanely good. Like, too good. Who is the studio again?
It is
Gokubi.
Studio. Yeah.
How the fuck did they do? They did some stinkers, but it's beautiful. It is a gorgeous show. But basically, what this is about a witch who is extremely shy. Another one of the shy characters was extremely shy. She's so shy that she decides that she's not even let me just back up. This world is based off of mage casters that has to chant their spells. Okay, everybody knows those type of shows where you have to chant your spells and they take fucking 15 minutes to cast one fucking fireball spell. This is one of those shows. This witch is so shy that she decides that because she can't cast spells while she's in school because it requires her to speak and she's too shy to speak. So she decides that, you know what, why would I need to speak these spells? I could just cast them in my head. And she ended up casting these spells in her head over and over and over to where she becomes one of the 7 fucking great witches or whatever they call it. I forget the title they give her, but she becomes a prodigy basically because she's the only one of very, 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 very few who can silent cast spells. And she ended up becoming a demon because of it. But she decides to hose herself up in this small little mountain town and just read and learn about magic and spells and stuff like that. And it is extremely adorable how she is. Then she gets tasked with one of the, I think they call them 7 sages. She's one of the 7 sages. One of the 7 sages comes to her little small hut and says, hey, we have a mission for you, a very important mission for her that only she could do. And she gets roped into this mission to where she has to go undercover as this maid, essentially, not really maid, but assistant to this noble house to protect the prince, essentially is what the overall story is about. But I mean, in the events of this show at the beginning, you get to see her basically cast this incredible spell that takes out an entire army of dragons, including this black dragon that's supposed to be one of the demons of the world. And she just takes them all out. And it is an extremely endearing story so far, an extremely interesting one that I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. It, again, very beautiful though. Animated to all hell. Like almost Freerun-esque animation. Like why did y'all have to go that hard?
I mean, that's pushing it a little bit, but it does look amazing.
No, it is. Because even like when they're showing her hut and then the creek, bruh, unbelievable. Like why? Why is this water looks this fucking? It's crazy how good it looks.
Yeah, I would even say it's a lot of it. A lot of what makes it look so good is the little motions they also add to it. Like everything has motion. Like the hands aren't just like, you know how sometimes they do the singular hand motion. They animate her hands very well. You can tell her anxiety.
It's crazy. I'm like, man, why is the environment like the background of a computer?
Yeah.
All right.
Where we at next?
I watched that one that I don't think you did, or you decided not to watch, but the Watari Kun's blank is about to collapse.
Yeah.
It's not what we think. Thank God. This
is it good?
Yeah, actually. So this is one, because when you read it, it says Nateo Watari lives solely for his little sister. Okay, and that already turned us off. We were like, no, thank you. But it's not that. It's his sister's in the 4th grade, and it's only them two. They don't have any parents, so he is the sole caretaker of his little sister. So he wants to make sure that she's always safe after they lost their parents. That's it. However, it was his childhood best friend who comes back into his life after, I believe, 3 years after she destroys their garden that they used to have. They used to have a garden when they were younger, and they used to tend to it together. And then she destroys it for seemingly no reason, and then disappears. After she destroys it and disappear, he moves on with his life and just tries to take care of him. Like him and his sister, just try to care for him and his sister. Because again, they don't have any parents, and she's like, basically his sister is alone without him. So he just tries to be there for her. And essentially, she comes back, she popped back up in his life. In his high school, she transferred, and she's extremely creepy, bro. Like, I mean, she's like stalker-esque creepy. And he's like, yo, just leave me the fuck alone type shit. And because he just wants to live a normal life and take care of his sister. And this is also this other popular girl who seemingly has a crush on him because the way he cares for his sister and tries to be the sole man, an adult in his family. It's very endearing, if you will. But she has a crush on him, and it seems to have this implication of a love triangle thing going on. But so far, it's kind of funny, not what we thought, and extremely interesting. I'm curious to see what this turns into, because she seems like an annoying character, because she just literally kisses him out of nowhere. Yeah, and it's very, very, very basically his rigid routine of him just taking care of his sister and making sure the house is okay is getting turned upside down because his childhood best friend is back. Worth to watch? I think so. I think it's worth a 3-episode rule at least.
I'm putting it back on the list just to check it out now.
Yeah, it's not
that doesn't sound actually as bad as it was before.
No, it's not as creepy as we thought. Thankfully.
One of the ones I watched, Onmyo Kaiten Rebirth Verse, which I don't know what the heck the English version of this name is.
I didn't want to.
So I apologize. Now, hear me out. This is not a Polow and Tell as anime. And I will tell you, I'm just going to be honest with you. Normally, I would drop this.
Oh.
Normally, I would drop this. And I say this because it is so shonen-esque. Then it's shonen-esque with this like mech concept. And the only reason I'm not entirely dropping it is because it took this shonen-esque mech concept and added kaiju number 8.
Whoa.
It's so all over the place, bro. But I want to try and get myself in the mindset of who I used to be and watch a super shonen-esque anime.
Okay.
Because it's not horrible. It's not horrible. Listen, here's what happens. We start off the anime and he is face to face with this what looks like a shrine maiden. And he's like, I'm gonna get stronger, I'm gonna protect you. And then he wakes up in another world and he's like, was that real? You know what I mean? And he's like, okay, I don't know what's going on. And essentially he is in the middle of a fight with a bunch of guys and he's got his arms tied behind his back. He's on a pole and he says, look, my family doesn't give up on a fight until we die. So I'm never going to give up. I don't die.
Very shown.
I don't lose because I have to die in order for me to lose. And even if I die, I'm not going to say I lose. So basically, this is what's happening. And they try and beat him up while he's got his hands tied behind this pole. And he ends up beating him up somehow and getting untied.
Oh, shit.
He next thing we see is he's riding down the street on a motorcycle, and he sees this little squirrel-like thing that he saw with the girl when he had his like otherworldly experience. Mm-hmm. And he swerves to try and catch it, and guess who's there? Guess.
Oh, the cat?
Truck Kun.
Oh, Truck Kun. Of course Truck Kun is there. What am I thinking?
He get hit.
Yep.
He goes to the other world. Well, he doesn't even get hit, bro. He doesn't get hit. He falls off the cliffside and falls. And you hear
you don't even get hit by Truck Kun. That's crazy. He don't even get hit.
He falls off a cliff. He goes on the ground. You literally hear it. It's hilarious. But he wakes up in the other world, and he has no idea where he is. He's in the middle of what seems to be a calamity festival where they're having this there's a sequence of events that constantly happen that causes widespread damage to their civilization. And it's their centennial, so it's 100 years of this situation happening. They're kind of like having this festival for it to bring recognition to it. And he's there. He has no idea what's going on, but he sees the girl that he keeps seeing in his rebirth or his other story. Now, to add context, is that he has had this experience with her 1,999 times before this. Shit. And this is the first time he's actually been able to stay and see her. This is his 2,000th time.
Damn.
So essentially, in meeting her, he immediately jumps her head like, hey, I've been waiting to come back and see you. I told you I was going to come see you again. She's like, who are you? So she has no idea who he is at this point. And basically what ends up happening is there's this thing called the black mist that bursts through the sky, and it petrifies anything that it touches, any kind of life that it touches.
Damn.
Everybody evacuates, and he has no idea what's going on, so he gets trapped in it alongside other people who are just like they're locked inside a cage is what it looks like now. And it's not that they were locked there intentionally, but they essentially are trying to isolate the area off, and it's like this holographic pink cage that isolates the area, and he's stuck in there. And he's like, what's going on? And he essentially saves a little kid by covering them. And this is where he finds out that he doesn't get petrified. So everyone's trying to figure out why he didn't get petrified. What happens with him? And you see that this is where the mech shit comes in. This is where I was almost like, all right, let's turn this off. But I kept rocking with it.
It was interesting until the mechs.
You see these mechs come in. Or one mech, and there's two people controlling the mech. Like this is Darling and the Franks. Is a boy and a girl.
Oh my goodness, no.
You know, they mishmashing a bunch of different anime.
That's what it sounds like.
It's Darling and the Franks, and they defeat the monsters. And after that, they wait for the black mist to clear up, and then that's the end of that situation. They go back to talking. He finds the girl again, and they ask. She's in trouble because he interrupted the situation, and she's trying to go get it settled. And another black mist attack happens immediately after. This time he understands what's happening, and he knows he's trapped there. He's met the people inside of the mech who fought it last time, but now they're fighting a monster that is stronger than them and is dog walking them. The monster is dog walking them, about to kill all kinds of people, stomping everybody. He gets blasted, and he's like, I can withstand any attack now. What's going on? Why can I survive an attack? So he's like, well, I'm gonna try and fight it head on. He jumps on, and he goes to attack it with like this little spear he got, and he stabs it, and his eyes light up green. And I'm like, oh shit, so what's about to happen? He gets punched, and all his limbs break.
Jesus.
He gets splattered on the wall, his limbs break. And he said, I can't die. I can't give up until I die, and I won't never give up.
So it's a regression story again, basically?
No, not quite. He turns into Kaiju number 8. Oh. And he beats the monster.
I'm already over it. I can't believe we've been talking about this one for this long.
Hear me out, bro. It is so shonen. It's mixed like 3 different anime into one.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
I'm giving it a tip for sure, but I want to watch it. I want to like it. But I don't think I am. But you feel me? You feel me?
Yeah.
Oh man,
that just gave me a headache.
It's all over the place.
It is.
It's so all over the place, but it's so simple that it was like, whatever, bro.
That one just didn't deserve that whole 6 minutes you gave it.
Somebody gonna watch it. I'm probably gonna be the only one. I don't know how far I'm gonna get with it, but I'm gonna give it a genuine try.
Gotta give it a 3. All right, let's quickly go on to Betrothed to My Sister's Ex. You watch this one?
I did not.
Please watch this one. Oh, I just made it my sleeper so I can force you to watch it. It is phenomenal, man. This one is so good. It's about Marie, which is the second daughter of a poor Baron's family. So this Baron he's bottom of the tier family. And they have an older daughter. Oh my God, this is so good, bro. It's so good. Okay, the older daughter is beautiful blonde, who is the older sister to the girl Marie. The girl Marie is super tall, so it has freckles, so she's considered ugly in this family, and they treat her like absolute dog shit. Like they treat her so bad. I'm talking almost philia bad, but she doesn't even get nice clothes. She gets rags and tatters. She doesn't even eat with the family. She eats in a whole separate room, sleeps in the shed, treat her like shit. I'm gonna save since you didn't watch it, I'm gonna save one of the biggest points of it. But basically, during her birthday, she actually gets to wear a nicer dress. But during her birthday, they don't treat it like it's her birthday. She's just there because this is the meeting for the Baron and their family, because it's their older sister's time to be betrothed to somebody. So the older sister is basically they're throwing a party for the older sister to find her a husband. And she's popular in the family because she's the quote unquote pretty one. So all these other houses are trying to get to know her older sister. The older sister is getting to know them. And during this time, Marie, which is the younger sister, the younger, taller, redhead sister, leaves the party because she's like, oh, they're not even here for my birthday. They're not even treating me like it's my birthday. I'm going to just go outside and chill at this fountain. She goes outside and chill at the fountain while her older sister is mingling with the people. And it's this guy that comes in, and he's a part of the different house in a different town, who's looking to become the duke of his land, but he needs to find a wife. He's really just there to celebrate the birthday of the older sister. Or no, he was there for the birthday of the younger sister, actually, not necessarily there to become the betrothed of the older sister. So he goes and he sees Marie at the fountain. When he asks her for direction, he treats her like she's a maid, not knowing who she really is because of the way she's dressed. But they end up talking, and it's this whole interaction that is so freaking incredible that I think probably one of the best interactions in this type of shoujo. I haven't seen a lot of shoujos, so maybe Crystal can vouch for me, but this is the interaction between him and her at the fountain is one of the best interactions I've seen in the shoujo yet. It is extremely special. And now I'm not even going to go into detail as to what happened, but I think this show is worth to watch for any and everybody, not just fans of slice of life or shoujo. It is extremely sweet. I shed a tear in it. Almost like halfway through it, I had a thug tear in my eye. And even past that point, a conversation that happens between him and her made me shed a tear too. I'm like, this is fucking sweet. And again, she's for All That Matters. We didn't do All That Matters last week because we keep fucking forgetting about it for the spring season. But I got a feeling for All That Matters, she's going to be the best waifu of the entire season. And he might even be the best guy too. So just throw that out there.
All that from the first episode.
Just from the first episode. An incredible 2 cast of characters that I'm wholly rooting for this entire time. I want to know how it's going to turn ugly. That's what I'm worried about. Because it was it could have been this entire first episode could have been a movie and it could have been done. It is so much that goes on within that first episode. An incredible first episode. Truly special. And before we miss this one, did you watch Gachiakuta?
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah, I thought that's where you was going to go when you started talking about a shonen-esque show. this seems very shonen, but then it got a little psychological, and I'm not gonna lie, this one does what I was just referring to earlier in that horrible exposition dump. Like when they try to explain what the world is and what's going on. Two characters that should already know the world is having these conversations just to explain to us, the viewer, what's going on. It was a terrible setup. And then the twist at the end was kind of whack.
Not twisty enough.
Yeah, it was like forced and unbelievable. Like if you gonna be his friend, if you gonna say that you love him in a sense, but that to just happen just like that, the switch to be flipped and nobody's hearing nobody out, and it's just an automatic assumption. It's like she believed him for 2 seconds and then she didn't believe him. But basically what this is about a society where one society is very clean and white. And the other, and they're sectioned off. They have the slums essentially where our main character is from. And it's dirty and nasty, and people that's on the white side throws all their trash away. And basically our main character is a trash picker. And it's just, I don't know. It's very uninteresting until it got to the very end. I will say that. That's just me being honest.
You thought the ending was interesting?
Kind of. Kind of. A little bit. It wasn't good, in my opinion, either. It's just 3 episodes.
I feel like it has the potential to go somewhere. I just don't know where it's going to go yet.
Yeah.
I do think that the idea of the world is somewhat interesting, and I only say it because it mirrors a lot of our world in a way with like, oh, everything is super clean here, and then you get the people who are, or the part of the world that's not so clean, but they still acting the same, like everything has to be super clean, but you're already not clean.
Yeah.
Why are you treating him like he's not clean? Which is part of the show, right? They're treating our main character as if he's dirty when they are
dirtier than dirty.
Also dirty. You know what I mean? It's like, are you mad at him for being a little bit dirtier when you quite literally have dirty clothes on, like you ain't took a bath all year?
It's just very like shonen main character. I want to be Naruto-esque type shit.
But I feel like it's going to be a lot darker than that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, facts.
Which I do think is my draw to it. Like, if it's going to get dirty and grungy and dark, dirty. if it's going to get dark, then I want to see where it goes.
Yeah. Because what they're trying to portray is he's the outcast in an already outcasted world, essentially. But it's just atypical, be usual bullshit. Mm-hmm. It's not that interesting. And even him as a character, like, got the fucking when he doing the trash picking and the people are shooting at him. What's up with that fucking stormtrooper aim? Like, these motherfuckers didn't shoot him. They grazed him once. He's just running straight.
He had his little power up moment where he's like, and then started acting like he was supersonic running through the bullets.
Yeah, it's so dumb. I hate shit like that. Shit like that irritates me. And I find it to be so uninteresting. Like I didn't care about nobody at all.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
And it was dubbed. Pretty decent dub too.
Now before we go on any further, I feel like I have to actually talk about this one because I didn't really give much conversation about it. My episode of the week, the summer Hikaru died. Now this one, especially this episode, for me, it was a bit of a shocker. And I told you when I saw the trailer that it gave me Summertime Rendering vibes. And essentially what we encounter, and this is in like the first minute, right? The first minute and a half, 2 minutes, we encounter two best friends. And essentially they are having a conversation, just hanging out like how two friends would, like how Polow and I would hang out. Having a regular conversation that two guys have, just talking about school and what they've been doing, and it's the summertime. And he says, "Hey, I've been thinking about ever since you came back from the mountain, and I want to ask, you're not Hikaru." And this is the friend he's talking to the whole time. His friend Hikaru. This is Yoshiki and Hikaru who are talking. And he's saying, "You're not Hikaru." And he said, "How did you know?" The Hikaru character says, "How did you know?" And he starts to cry. He's like, "I thought I acted like him perfectly, or I copied him perfectly." And he says to him that, "Please, I don't want to kill you." And the character, to me immediately, I'm like, wait, it's this weird situation where it has this vibe. It gives you almost like a Parasite kind of vibe, because what we essentially see is when he says, "Please, I don't want to kill you," is we see this almost like multicellular organism come off of his face. It's like red, black, white.
I watched the first 5 minutes of it before I turned it off. And, because you could see because at the beginning of it, Hikaru fell off this mountain or whatever, and he's in this forest, and he's beat the fuck up, and you can see this, what looks to be a parasite that comes and it attaches itself to Hikaru. And that's when his eyes changed. And I got to the part where they were sitting there talking at the store, and I'm like, I don't know if this is going to be for me. Mm-hmm. And that's when I turned it off.
Now, as it progresses, the rest of the episode, it really is almost just them hanging out as friends, going through the city where they live as friends, and they encounter little things that
he notices that it isn't the original Hikaru's way.
Well, not necessarily. What happens is so they first encounter this cat, and the Hikaru goes to reach down and pet the cat, and the cat immediately freaks out, like, "You can't touch me." Freaks out. They walk past, and this lady is like, she jumps and realized, like, just thinking like this, like when Hikaru goes past, like something made her shiver. Like she noticed something different. Yeah. And then they're walking together again, and this old lady says, "No, Noando can't come here, and Noando came from the mountain to come get me," basically freaking out. And the guy who is saying Hikaru says, "This kind of stuff always gives me the creeps." And, he's just saying that this is a creepy situation, and I don't want to be around it. So they leave. And he has this kind of like dark look on him. But towards the end of the show, and this is where I was like, nah, this is actually bone chilling. Like, this is kind of actually creepy, and I want to watch it because it has this horror vibe to it. Because to me, it sounds good the whole time. It looks good the whole time. But this was legitimately the best part. And I thought it was, to me, this delivered the best horror moment I feel like I've had for an anime. Like, nothing has actually ever gave me like, that sounds kind of creepy or scary, or like if I experienced this, like if anybody experienced this, you'd probably be creeped out, right? Let's be real. But basically, I can't really explain it, but Hikaru goes back to the old lady's house to handle business. And I feel like you just gotta watch it. That's all. I can't really tell you what happens, because it's important to feel it and hear it yourself. You gotta hear it. You gotta feel it. You gotta see it.
I'll try. It gave me. Oh yeah.
It gave you boy love vibes. And and that's what I can say. It still kind of feels that way. It still kind of feels that way.
It's just not,
And I'm not even sure if that's what it is. I'm not sure if that's what it is, because I don't
even know if it is either. It just felt like it.
This does say LGBTQ plus themes.
Okay, so yeah, the boys' love's never hit for me, man.
But
or girls' love for that matter.
I don't know if that's what it is. I'm just here to see what happens now. If that is what it is, and I get it, but I do think that this first episode was done well enough to where it feels, to me, it left me interested in getting in wanting more.
Okay, all right, I'll try to watch the first episode just to see what they hear. When you put emphasis on here, that must mean it sound crazy.
It is though. It's not just the hear though. It was the whole delivery is the thing. But that's why the hearing was so important, because I'm on my surround sound, right? But it sounds so crazy that now I'm like, I gotta make Monique watch this.
I'm a big fan of sound design. I think for me, this might be the last one. I'm not too sure. Yeah, I think it will be. And that's the private tutor to the Duke's daughter. This has 2 episodes. I believe it came out last week, but we just missed it. But this was interesting, man. This one has characters that I think we would I already absolutely love. But this is about this private tutor, a guy named Alan, who is tasked with going to this Duke house and tutoring his daughter. Now the Duke tells him to tutor the daughter, but basically what he wants him to do is to convince her not to go to this academy, because the issue is the Duke's daughter is incapable of casting magic. Like she has mana, an abundance of mana, but she's incapable of casting magic because she can't finish a spell for some reason. And he's tasked with trying to figure out if he can, tutor her or convince her not to go to the academy. But he decides that instead of tutoring her and convincing her not to go, to try to help her be able to cast magic. What's up?
So my question is, this ain't like a season 3 or something you already watched?
Nope.
You ain't never watched nothing with a private tutor to the Duke's daughter?
Nope.
That's the only reason I didn't watch this.
No, this is a brand new show.
You ain't watched never? Is it something that you watched with a Duke in it?
Duke of Death and his maid. Yeah.
That's why I did. I was like, why would I watch a season 3?
No, this is something completely new, but it's very, very different. It seems to have it's one of those main characters where he's like kind of unintentionally suave and smooth and wins the hearts of people around him unintentionally, but it also kind of hints at him being kind of powerful, but they don't really show it. But he's basically like the brains of this of another house who specializes in like fire magic, and she is the Duke of the daughter. Like, it's 4 houses that have the different elements of magic, and she's the Duke of the ice magic house, but she can't cast spells. And again, trying to figure out what the hell is going on with her and why she can't cast spells is it's been a very interesting story so far, especially after episode 2. So I'm not going to go too far into it because episode 2 kind of gets into the weeds of it a bit, but I'm definitely intrigued. It's very, very good show so far. I think everybody should watch this one.
It's got to get added to the list because I didn't even know. I didn't even know. I thought this was literally a continuation. That's the only reason I didn't add it to the list.
Oh no, it's a great one. It's a pretty good one too. And that's it for me. You got anything else?
Detectives these days are crazy. It's a comedy anime. Is it good? No. Am I watching it? I think that I'm here. It's literally about an old detective who used to be the number 1 detective in where he is, and a high school girl, Mashiro, who finds an old flyer of his that he left out years ago, probably before she was even born, looking for help because he had a lot of business he needed help with. And she just decides that she's going to come help him. She's been wanting to be a detective all her life. And it's wild. It's not good, though. Like, I promise you, it's not good. Is it funny? I do think I actually chuckled at this. I did actually chuckle at this, and I don't chuckle much. I laugh at actual people. I don't normally laugh at TV even. Like, who's your favorite comedian? I don't think they funny. Like, not funny enough to laugh out loud. But what I think is funny, yes. Now, so I do think this is actually hilarious, and I did get a chuckle out. So I am excited to actually watch this and see where it goes. It's getting at least 3 episodes. Okay. But just like I said, it's not good. It's not good. So don't expect, if you watch it, the detectives these days are crazy. Don't say I sent you. Just say that I'm watching it. You can say that.
All right. And we are an hour and 33 minutes into this episode, and we're done with that. To touch on what's still coming out, because next week is going to be a continuation of this particular story, is we got Solo Camping for 2. Dealing with, this is what I got, me personally. Dealing with Macadono Sisters is a breeze. Dr. Stone, Science Future, Core 2. Can't wait for that. I'm actually excited. I Was Reincarnated as a Seventh Prince comes back. Couple of Cuckoo Season 2 comes back. Can't wait for that. Rising of the Shield Hero Season 4 comes back. still no Kaiju number 8 next week, but that's the following week after that.
Yeah, they had an episode this week, but it was like a one-off thing.
Yeah, like a recap thing, but that doesn't count. Togen Aniki, Bullet, which probably is only going to get one episode. That's all I got coming out.
So only thing to add on top of that, I think I have is there's no freaking way I'll be your lover unless, which is I think the only thing I'm watching that Polow isn't already watching.
Yeah, I didn't. I just decided not to watch that. There's a couple I didn't watch this week though, and that's Rascal Does Not Dream of Santa Claus. I didn't watch that yet, and then Night of the Living Cat.
I want to watch that too. I do have it on my list. I'm not taking it off because I do want to watch it.
Me too.
So we both have that on here.
Yeah. So that's that. All right, we're not going to take a break, but we are going to spoil.
Apothecary Diaries?
No, we could have. Shit. Oh, you want to? Maybe we should take a break, huh? Take a break because To Be Hero X and Apothecary Diaries. Then
we can go right into it, bro.
All right. Let's go right into it then. Do you want to get to know Let's get to know Check Waifu first though, and then that'll be a split for that.
All right, let's do it.
It's my turn to read the question. Your turn to roll the random number generator. I actually remember this time.
The number I have is 31.
What anime has the best fight scenes in your opinion?
Dang, this kind of goes on the topic I meant to actually bring up. Hikaru no Shida, or the Forbidden Ones, has that in like the Fate series. They just have the best choreographed fights in my opinion. Like it's just hard to actually say, because I do think Demon Slayer has the best like if you look at the animation, it is like some of the best animation. But when I think fights, I don't think just the animation itself, like how pretty it is good, but I think the actual motion, like just like they put thought into how the hands are hitting, if they're actually connecting, that kind of stuff. I think that the Fate series just doesn't they haven't lost, especially in their movies.
Yeah, but, for me it's easy. It's Windbreaker.
Oh yeah, oh my god, yeah.
Like that's real hands. Just each character has a different fighting style, which is also dope. And like I like the sense of the feel of the impact that it shows too. Like a lot of shows are good at fighting, right? Like good at Demon Slayer, you mentioned. Hidden Ones looks cool too. The problem with stuff like the Hidden Ones is that it doesn't have that impact. Like it looks cool and very flashy, but the impact that Windbreaker has when somebody gets punched in the face or kicked in the head or somebody blocks it with their forearm, like that impact feel and sound and look is best with Windbreaker.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk. Let's do To Be Hero X first.
Yeah, start there. This is the worst episode To Be Hero X.
Yeah, following of already what I felt was already a bad one.
And the reason I say it's the worst wasn't even because I actually, like, I genuinely don't think.
I think they personally ruined what was one of the best parts of the show.
Yeah.
And that is the thought of, trust and fear. And fear being aliens. That fucking blew my mind.
Well, they didn't necessarily say the fear itself.
It is. They did. They absolutely did, because me and TCB went to talk about it in the Discord, and they did. Because I just finished the episode maybe 2 hours ago. Fear is alien. It's the alien goop. We received the fear from the alien goop. Like when he was talking to the round table, it completely diluted what fear is, and it pissed me off. It was awful.
I I'm thinking about the fact that they said trust and fear can be turned off by the alien stuff that they got. Like it just completely blocks.
Yeah, the trust can be turned off by the fear, which is the alien goop, which is stupid. It's just like if it was actual fear, the concept of fear, that was such a cool concept in this world, bro. It was such an amazing concept, and you took up for it really well last week because what you said made the show so good for them to basically take that and smack you in the face.
Hell yeah, they slapped the shit out of me. But hear me out. It's to me, it was arguably the worst episode of To Be Hero X. Not arguably, it was definitely the worst episode of To Be Hero X, and it's just because like they gave us what we didn't want. Mm-hmm. Now, I do still think would this have been a better episode of a worse anime? Yes, but only because
that's true.
Only because the animation was still good.
And
only because the sound design was still good.
Voice acting was great.
The pacing though, it just felt like we picked up right where we left off. Literally, we had a minute of what we left off with into this. But I felt like the whole thing with the previous number one hero or to the previous Hero X dude, I felt like that was BS and even how he was utilized. I felt like his idea was kind of cool, but the implementation of him into this
like,
this whole situation, it felt pointless. They could have literally used the guy who was already hunting them down, which maybe we'll get a reason why. But at this point, for this specific segment, I have lost space with To Be Hero X, and I am awaiting to move or transition to our next segment at this point.
Yeah, it was god awful. Like it was just like everything was bad about it except for the animation, sound design, voice acting, etc. But it was so cumbersome and like it was like they're just trying to force you. They were just trying to force the origin story of fear onto you within this story of these girls being too cute and then a girl wanting to be a hero. It just didn't feel, none of it felt like it was a part of the same show that we've been watching all the way up until now. Even the twist at the end about how this guy that came in was the reason why this guy came in. Like what that quote unquote twist was so lackluster and not what this show has been for 13 other episodes. You know what I'm saying? So it was just very, very strange the way they decided to shoehorn this in. Again, maybe in this next wrap up of this arc, it brings it all together and it captivates us again. But I don't think anything can at this point with the learning that fear is aliens.
Yeah, high key, these two episodes dropped the percentage of anime to like a 90%.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was 100% before that, by the way. I just wanted to keep that out there. If
it goes any more left,
please don't.
Shit. If it goes even more right, it's going down. Yeah. Either way, I just needed to go straight.
Yeah.
just please go back up. Figure it out, my guy. I don't know what's going on here.
When TCB dropped the aliens meme in the Discord, I died laughing.
Yeah, like, I was like, I can't believe it. Because why would they do that?
Why would that? You don't need to, because trust is trust. Let fear be fear. Let everything that you said last week be what it was. I just knew you were on to something, but I'm like, but hold on now. Hold on now. We can't give it that assumption.
Yeah, I can't be cooking for them.
I know, and you cooked for them. You definitely cooked for the autumn.
Put my cape on for them, and they wasted it.
True. All right, let's move on to God.
One of the goats.
One of the goats easily can reach the top 10, especially after this episode. We already got a confirmed season 3. So,
which hear me out.
How?
I'm not upset with that.
Me either, but like, why?
I don't think we needed it. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I don't think we needed a season anything after that. But
#Polow's right too, by the way. I just put that in there early.
I mean, it literally just started. He still has stitches. It could go away.
No. I'm not talking about I'm talking about
the scar.
No, I'm talking about Lao Lan being alive.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That was dope, and I even like her transitionary moment what her plans are. And what she said, I think the whole point in that was that, yeah, she gave a nonsense name, but the fact that there's a name to the hairpin means that she got it from someone that basically Mao Mao will be able to point it out. Like, okay, that was Lao Lan. Lao Lan's still alive. She was alive when she gave me this. And that's going to make Mao Mao extremely happy.
Yeah, that part choked me up a little. A lot of this episode kind of choked me up a little bit. That choked me up a little bit.
Now, the crown emperor in waiting had that. He, Master Jinshi, that's his name, right? Jinshi.
Yeah, Jinshi is his name.
He pissed me off, bro.
I think the crown prince is still what's her name's baby though.
Yeah. But Master Jinshi need to go ahead and just be like, look, man. And he did say, sometimes I want you. He did say, sometimes I want you.
I forgot about that part.
I need him to be like, I want you all the time. I'm done playing games, Mao Mao.
It was so adorable, but
it's crazy, but I need him to be a man.
I know. He doesn't know how.
Man.
How would he know how, you know?
He'd be a man in so many other situations. Be a man when it comes to Mao Mao.
It's different because he doesn't be a man with that situation. He just uses his looks to be gentle.
He just went to a whole war.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about in the way of expressing his feelings for anybody.
He's never done that. But that's what I'm saying. He's been a man in so many other situations. I'm just like, just tell her what you want and need, my guy, and we can move on. Yeah. Just go ahead and solidify what's yours. She ain't going nowhere.
All he got to do is do it. But then I think him being afraid of rejection because you know how Mao Mao is. Mao Mao will tell his ass no. You know what I'm saying?
Or make a story about it.
Or avoid it, yeah. Yep. Find ways to
But my mom bring up the frog every chance she gets. She clearly interested. She
seemed more interested. She seemed the most interested for sure this time, though, especially when he was taking his nap on her lap. I think that this is the most interested we've seen her. I can't wait to see what season 3 is going to be because there's no denying that this show is going to cook. Whatever it is, they're going to cook.
And with the implications of what we got this season, I feel like it only gets wilder in a sense, but wow.
Really?
And I only say wilder because now Master Jinshi has been elevated to a point where he has to take action. You know what I mean?
Okay, I see what you're saying.
In his current position, Mama's still going to be attending to him. Does that? Well,
nope, because she's working she's an apothecary in the district, back at her old district.
I understand that. You think he ain't gonna come grab Mao Mao?
Probably.
You think he's not gonna come grab Mao Mao? Come on, my guy.
But as of right now, she has no reason to be there. Her dad is there now, as the doctor. So, and she's back as the apothecary to help them out because they lost the doctor.
I understand that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is he gonna come grab his Mao Mao.
I hope he do.
Yeah. Or worst case scenario, something happened to him and Mao Mao got to figure it out. Mm-hmm. But either way, this show has been a masterclass on how to just never drop the ball.
Not once. Yeah, I can't think of one time where it was like, oh, this is bad.
This whole season, and I hate to say it, this season for me was better than season 1, and I already thought season 1 was a 10. I already thought season 1 was amazing. Season 2, what it did that was just better to me was that everything meant something more at different points in the show. It meant something more. Like I'm still thinking about the red and green episode where they were talking about how different people couldn't see certain colors.
Yeah.
And what that meant
genetically it's passed down and shit. Yeah.
It literally came up 7 episodes later and solving something. This is why they couldn't see it, and this is what's going on. And it's just even the moonlight butterfly kept coming up, kept meaning something, having significance. The show just does a good job of implanting something in your brain, but letting you think about it, but giving it to you when it's relevant at this point. This is when it's relevant. This is when you need it.
Right.
the show is great, man.
It's perfection, bro. It is absolutely perfection. I'm just trying to think of a time. Yeah.
You can't find a time they dropped the ball.
No, it's not even necessarily that. I'm trying to think of a time where it didn't escalate. Right? Each from season 1, each moment escalated to be bigger on top of another. I guess when Jinshi almost died, that was the biggest. And the guy slapped Mao Mao, the guard slapped Mao Mao. That was pretty intense in season 1. So I think that was a little bit more intense, but
the introduction of Mao Mao's dad.
Yeah, his actual dad. That was pretty intense too. I think season 1 still had the more intense moments. But this had the more important moments in season 2.
Yeah. I'm not arguing that.
Yeah. That's just my interpretation of it. That's just how I'm viewing it. But they're both incredible. I think you're right about it still being better. I think
but I'm just like, how did they manage to pull that off?
This will be the only show that I would have to go 100-point scale. Just to say that season 1 is a 9.99. Just to give season 2 that 10 because it's just slightly better. You know what I'm saying?
But it's only better because that's the reason why I can't say it's not a 10, because what made it better wasn't the idea that like season 1 was lacking anything.
Right, exactly. It
was the fact that it did everything that season 1 did, but better. You know what I mean? Like if I graded any other anime off of what Apothecary Diaries did in season 1, I'd be like, yo, that's a great anime. But then you get Apothecary Diaries season 2 and you're like, hold up, but wait. Was that really a great anime, or was this a great anime? I can't say Apothecary Diaries season 1 wasn't a 10 when Apothecary Diaries season 2 is a 10.
Exactly right.
They fed me well over there, and then they just gave me the same food with a different like taste on top of it. It was just even better.
This is what I'm gonna do, Till, and this is solely just for Apothecary Diaries. Apothecary Diaries season 1 was a 9.99. Free Run was a 10. Apothecary Diaries season 2 is a 10. And that's how we're going to judge that, because Apothecary Diaries season 1 is just as good almost as Free Run, just almost, but Free Run just had so much more impact and just gravitas. But those two in the same category is exactly where they belong. That's how great they are. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about it. And that's the only exception.
Yeah, you give it what you want. I'm giving it 10. I'm sorry, I can't take away from it. I do genuinely think season 2 is better, so I agree with that. But it's like, man, it's not because of anything other than the fact that it just had it. You know what it is though? To me, it legitimately was just like, because of the fact that they I'm not gonna say drip fed us, but it was the pacing of where they placed those moments, man. Yeah. It just hit.
It was always a natural build up, because a lot of times shows have a problem with transitioning from arcs to arc. It was a natural progression within the different arcs that happen that still contribute to an overarching story that was in the overall world. While they had the smaller issues, that smaller issues led to answers to the bigger issues. The bigger issues led to answers to the overarching story. Oh, it's just brilliant. A brilliant storytelling. Okay, I got it.
Last thing.
Yeah.
When we talked about how they like to bring stuff back, they do something for a reason, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about the kids coming back to life?
I think that was for Surrey. Surrey. Lolan's older sister. I think that was for her. And I don't think other than that, it was to wrap up that point, right? You know how they talked about how Lolan said to Jinshi, like, you let the dead stay dead. I think that was just to wrap up that part.
Well, you let the ones who died once go free.
Go free. Yep. That was that part. And they wrapped that up nicely with telling them they got adopted to that different house, and Surrey was with them to assist in raising them, et cetera, et cetera. I think that was just...
It was a nice bow for all the low line stuff, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think that entire arc was wrapped up brilliantly. And Lowline, she was on her fucking... She was on her Mau shit.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like 2 steps ahead.
She was cooking, man.
And just happened to get lucky with the thanks of Mau. But very intriguing, to say the least. But all that to be said, man, summer is in heat.
Absolute heat.
Absolute heat. I'm at Polow Bornfly on all social media.
I'm at King Telliano on all social media.
Follow our social medias at youtube.com/@MikeCheckWaifu, youtube.com/@RespectGames. And as always, Mike check.
I can't wait to see what episode 309 bring.
You're now tuned into Mike Check Waifu. Is that you? Is that you? Is that you? Is that you? Is that you?